sexiest fragrances for men in 2024. There are obviously quite a few of these types of fragrances, these kind of dark and smoldering and seductive types of fragrances. I've compiled a small list of fragrances that I think are versatile, but still very, very attractive, very sexy for men. And as always, all the fragrances that I mentioned will be available in the Amazon associate links down in the description below. I'm going to start with one, which I think is super, super attractive. This is actually a unisex option, Oud Satin Mood. This is ideal for evening wear or winter wear. This is, obviously oud. This is an oud fragrance mixed with some Turkish rose, some other kind of dark and mysterious notes, but primarily it's the oud and the rose mixed together. Anyone who's smelled oud knows that it's very intense. It's very musky, it just has a unique smell to it, that earthy, pungent smell. Alone, oud is actually kind of almost too much for a lot of people. Then you mix it with the rose note in here, and the rose note is actually kind of dry and airy rather than floral and sweet, but mixing those two together creates an absolutely phenomenal mixture. Just fantastic. It's smooth and heavy and mysterious without being too sweet or too musky or too this or too that. Very just a nice, warm, intense type of fragrance. Very good longevity, about 8 to 9 hours of longevity. Plus you could tell just by smelling it that it is one of those really high quality fragrances. It's kind of hard to beat this one, especially if you're a fan of oud. It just does it really, really well. And again, it's one of those kind of special occasion type of fragrances just because it smells so good. But moving on from this one, actually another one from the same brand. This is Gentle Fluidity. This is for those who gravitate towards more fresh and clean types of fragrances instead of the super musky or the super woodsy or, heavier types of fragrances. Because Gentle Fluidity, which is also a unisex option, this is perfect for those looking for something really, really clean and crisp. This is probably one of the crispest fragrances I've come across. It's very similar, if you've ever smelled Terre d'Hermès Eau Givrée, which is also, they both share a juniper berry note, and they're both very, very clean and fresh. This, I would say, is a little bit more maybe citrusy, but they are very similar overall. This is, again, very kind of like cold water, fresh, breezy, kind of reminiscent of springtime a little bit, that just fresh, breezy air, a little bit cold. Definitely something to wear in hot weather, or if you just want to smell really clean and really fresh, you just get out of the shower, you want to get that zing through you. So this is a very good option for that. Now, longevity will suffer because it is, it's meant to be a lighter type of fragrance, so longevity is about 4 to 5 hours. Not great, but you can always reapply it, of course. And it's, again, more of a summertime fragrance or just a clean fragrance in general. You can even use it as a gym fragrance because it is, very fresh. Now, maybe you want something light, but not too light and woodsy. Then I would say Creed, specifically, this Creed Vetiver. I think this is a great option for, again, those who are looking for something that's still light, but also has that more intense, natural smell to it. The Vetiver has a very kind of almost spicy, dried grass smell, some woodsiness thrown in there. It's just very natural, very much like you're walking through a wooded path, that sort of thing. So longevity on that is about 6-ish hours. It could last up to 7, depending. But it does have a nice distant warmth to it. It's not super intense, but the warmth that it has is very comforting, very cozy. And it does have a certain kind of seductiveness just in its more intimate sort of projection. And again, with that warmth that it has just from the natural elements of the woodsiness and the vetiver and things like that. So it is a very, very nice option. It is more expensive being from Creed, but Creed, I mean, they pretty much always create very, very high quality fragrances, so you can't really go too wrong with them. Now, if you want something much, much stronger, you really want to go full intensity, then I would say something like Ford Tobacco Oud. Now, even though Oud Satin Mood does have the oud in it, this is more super intense oud because it's mixed with the tobacco. This is definitely not for the faint of heart. You definitely have to really like, those intense notes, the tobacco and the oud, to really enjoy this one. It's very nice. I personally really enjoy those intense scents. The tobacco is really wonderful. It has that smoldering smokiness mixed with the oud, with its very intense muskiness and just natural intensity. So you combine those two scents, and it's just this bomb of smells, I guess. Super long-lasting, just because these notes are so intense on their own. About 9 hours of longevity, maybe even up to 10. But this is definitely very rugged, very masculine. Definitely more of an evening fragrance, and also more of a cold, chilly weather fragrance because it's very, very warm. Both the tobacco and the oud are very warm notes on their own. So this is a kind of a fragrance bomb here just because it's so strong and long-lasting, and the notes themselves smell, they're very in your face. So you really don't need to put on too much of this to get the desired effect. Just a few sprays and you're good to go. Now, the last one, if this is too intense for you, maybe you don't want to go full-on tobacco oud, then, maybe you're looking for something a little bit different, maybe even with a little bit of sweetness, then I would say Leighton from Parfum de Mali. This is, some people kind of get conflicted about the sweetness that it has. It is sweet for a men's fragrance, but it's not too crazy, I would say. It just kind of depends. I would try a sample first before you get the full bottle, but this is a spicy, sweet type of fragrance. It has some cardamom in it, that sort of thing. Very strong, a good 8 to 9 hour fragrance. And now Leighton, I think, is a good option in general for those who are looking for something with, just a little bit more sweetness, but still a little bit of that spiciness. I think it's a pretty well-balanced fragrance. Plus, again, good longevity. Plus, also, it's from Parfum de Mali, so it is a very high-quality fragrance. It is also more expensive, but again, you're paying for that quality sort of thing. So, overall, that is my list for fragrances that I think are pretty attractive for men. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, of course, you could leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.